so here is this chipboard piece that I was going to use on yesterday's layout and I didn't use it, but I do use it on this one. Now, this chipboard piece comes from Scrapbook Fantasies, and I will have a link to their shop in the description below, and it was gifted to me, so full disclosure. Thank you so very much for that. Now, I printed out this layout is about face paint. It's not so much about Halloween or anything like that, but it's about face paint. Now, it seems to work to use it and do it in this time of the year. So I found this really funky font in the CRICUT design space and I loved it. Now, it is delicate and it took a little bit for me to sort of get my brain around how I was going to do it, but I pulled out my alcohol markers and I pulled out LUMBERJACK Plaid Distress Oxide and I put that on there. Truth be told, because I wanted the glitter, I came in afterwards with the STICKLES Christmas glitter in red and I put that over the top of it. Now, the reason I put the LUMBERJACK Plaid down is because I wanted it to be a deep glittery red. I didn't want it to be that bright Christmas red. So, and it actually works. I know this seems a little bit boring probably to watch this. I actually find that I'm relatively new in the space of alcohol markers. Sorry about my head getting in the way there. I don't use them very often. I don't have a big set of them, but I did invest in some from MARTE recently, thinking maybe if I bought a small set of them, I would use them more because the colours would go together better. And I have to say, I'm actually finding uses for certain colours, especially when I'm using the Distress Oxides, because when you Distress Oxides, whether they're ink pads or Distress Oxide sprays or Distress inks, they are all water-soluble products. So that just basically means that if you add water to them, you can lift them back off the page. If you wet them, they will mix together, all that sort of thing. So what I want to do is, this is just me evolving over time, I guess. And I think that's what we all do as scrapbookers. We evolve. So we do something. And what we did 2 years ago, or 3 or 5 years, or in my case, 20 years ago, it may not necessarily be what you would do now. So I'm evolving with the alcohol markers and I'm going to see if it works its way into my scrapbooking a bit more. Now, as you can see, this is the Christmas glitter. These letters have got like a drip coming from them. So I've written scary face paint because I never saw this filter. I never saw what this was. This is terrible, but I do not even know what kid this is. I don't know if it's Jen, Ange, or Taylor. No idea. That's how insane the colour is. It's crazy. So I've done that so I can put it off to the side and let it dry. Now, I used the black alcohol marker on the letters, and the background, I didn't want them to be white. I wanted them to be off-white. So I pulled this one out and it's a light, okay, I'll tell you the number, but it will probably mean nothing to you. GY1. Now that's I don't know the technical side of things. I don't know. These are really, really good. I've got to tell you, these MARTE, it's an Australian brand, and I've got to tell you, these alcohol markers, they give me faith that I'll be able to successfully use them. See these photos? How creepy is that face makeup? Anyway, but here's where the twist comes in. The colours in the mask. So whilst I'm doing this in October 2023, for years down the track when someone watches this, it is in the Halloween month, but these are not traditional Halloween colours. So I decided that I was going to come in with the colours that are in the photos rather than going down a spooky, creepy, blood dripping kind of horror direction. So I used worn lipstick in the Distress Oxide range. I used worn lipstick, squeezed lemonade, and tumbled glass. Now, tumbled glass, I think that my bristles still had some of the last colour in there because it was a bit darker, but I didn't mind it because it actually matched the photo better than what tumbled glass would have. So I was okay with that. Technically, I'm putting tumbled glass on there, but I'm pretty sure there's probably some salty ocean or something like that mixed in there. Now, I'm just putting splotches. Don't worry, stick with me. Now, this is a Scrapbook Fantasies stencil. These guys do stencils now. And I've got to tell you, this is a really, really good stencil, and I can see that I'm going to use it a lot. I love me a generic stencil that is just blobs or lines or dashes or crosses or circles or something that is generic. And the reason I like that is because you can use it on all different layouts. It allows you to create texture in the background. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm just coming back in over the top with the same color I just used. So I used a lighter hand underneath, and then I'm coming in with a heavier hand over the top. And it's creating texture, but it's not in your face texture. Now, the blue didn't really work. I did come back in once it dried. I came back in over the top of it again with some more tumbled glass because with the oxides, the lighter colours easily go over the darker colours once they've dried and set down. So you can do that with them. So I was hopeful, and I'm happy with it. Look, at the end of the day, I'm happy with it because I do decide to get a little grungy on this one. Now, how good does that look? Perfect. So I actually did, in the video yesterday, I actually painted this chipboard circle. It looks like messy circles or something. I don't know what they actually call it. It wasn't written on it, but I will try and find it for you and link it in the description below. I covered it with the Dina Wakley black gesso, and it's a beautiful matte black with a black border. That is American Crafts white black textured cardstock. And I love, love, love where this is going. This is a sort of layout that I love just getting in and just doing and not really thinking about it too much. I did think of putting the photos in the center like that, but then I've already done my title. Had I have thought this through a little bit more before I did the title, I could have done a curved title. But what I decided to do was cut it. And it worked perfectly. So I then, because my letters are still drying, so I wanted to see if that was going to work. So then I could just put my title through the center and I can fit my 2 photos on there. I'm covering up some of the mixed media, which happens all the time. Hindsight, I wish I had have done some black splatters on it. I came back to it this morning and I finished this layout yesterday, and I came back to it and I thought some black splatters would have worked really well on this, but I didn't do them, and hindsight's a wonderful thing. I can always go back and do them later on, but when it comes to me and splatters, I don't like them getting on my titles or on my photos or whatever. Like, I like to do the splatters before I put all the stuff on, and I just think it looks more of a planned step rather than an afterthought. And I guess that's where I differ to some people. You know, some people splatter up crazy after everything's put on there, and it works for them, but I just can't for me. Now, I have pulled out my Stabilo All Pencil in black. I don't use that a lot in my scrapbooking. I use it more in my art journaling, but I decided that I would go to town and I would use it on this layout. And not too much, not to the point of ridiculous, but I find the Stabilo All Pencil, what it actually is, it's a waxy pencil that is water soluble, and it will never dry. It never dries down to the point that it doesn't reactivate. So it's not something that you can use and then if it gets wet, if it has any other wetness touch it. I zoomed in here for you guys so you can see it a little bit better. I love this font. It's not a font that I would obviously use on lots of layouts, but it works. I think it works. Let me know what you think. Those little drippy bits, I love them. And I do zoom in at the end, guys, so you can see it not in fast forward. But as I say to everybody on my channel, I do leave all the bits and pieces in and I fast forward it so you can actually see the actual process of the video. If you want to slow it down at any point, just click on the little cog at the bottom of your screen and it will pop up and it'll give you 3 or 4 different things. One of it is speed, playback speed, and if you click on that, it gives you the option for you to control how fast or slow you watch a video. So yes, obviously I will sound like a chipmunk, but you can still understand. Even if you do 2 times the speed, you can actually still understand me. So yeah, it works. But for the purposes of creating these videos and not making them go forever and ever, my lives, if you want to scrap with me normal speed for a long time, that's when I do my lives. When I do those, you can see me figuring things out as I go, that sort of thing, and it's more, yeah, it's normal speed, obviously. So what I am nearly finished, I've nearly got these put onto the offset. Now you can see I'm being very, very careful how I'm gluing those down, and I'm using my CRICUT hook, and that was because I wasn't confident that the Stickles glitter was dry. That is the one wet medium that for some reason, even here in Queensland, when it's hot, it takes forever to dry. Does my head in, but that's okay. So I'm loving where this is going, guys. That title is not, it's one of those old scrolly kind of titles, so it doesn't necessarily, but it reminds me of a spooky thing. So, and as I said, I don't even know what kid this is. So it's at this point that I decided to bring in my Stabilo All Pencil because I feel like I need a third matte black on the page, and that's why I pulled it out. I have the Stabilo All only in black and white, and basically what I like to use it for is to smudge it out so that I get a smoky black look. You could use the distressed watercolor pencils for this, but I find the Stabilo All Pencil is it's a lot more, there's a lot more color goes down, if that makes sense. Like the color payoff, it's meant to be a messy medium like this. So all I'm going around, I am using a blending stump because I usually use my finger in my art journals or a paintbrush or whatever, but I didn't want this to get I wanted it to be hazy. I didn't want it to be crisp, and I wanted it to blend out a little bit. So I was being very cautious to start off with the blending stump, because I just wanted to bring in some more black through that centerpiece to draw your eye to the title. That's what I plan on doing. Now, I didn't come in with lots of bling or anything like that at the end of this because I felt like it was enough. Like I said, I think maybe some black splatters in and around where like inside the circles, I think that would have looked really good. And I can still go back and do that. Actually, I'll do that before I put the photos up. I'll add some black splatters because I really do think that will make a difference. And I'll just cover up where I don't want it to land. And not ideal, but, you know, workable. So I did end up coming in with my paintbrush because it just wasn't giving me the look I wanted. Now, the water on this brush, there is like, it's wet and then I pretty much dry it off. That's how much the Stabilo All Pencil and the Stabilo Woodies do the same thing. I don't have those though, but they do their same sort of same lead, I suppose you'd call it. Same pigment. It's that real creamy, I love, love, love. When I want to get all grungy, I love using the Stabilo All Pencil. I don't know why I haven't really brought it over into my scrapbooking much. I think I just have certain things that I use more for journaling and more for scrapping, I guess. I don't know. But maybe you'll see me use it a bit more. Let me know what you think. Now, this is pretty much where I decided to pull up stumps and go, that's enough. I do end up doing, with my Posca paint pen, I do end up going around with a pen border as well, just to reinforce that border, because you've got the different thicknesses of lines with the circles, and I thought that would help. So that is my layout, guys. I just did put the date of these photos in one of those circles underneath there so it doesn't really stand out too much. And I thought I was being a little bit too cautious with these circles. I really wanted them to go out right to the edge, and I think that looks a bit better. So there you go, guys. Here is the up close. Check out these letters. They look awesome. The stencil is fantastic. I love that chipboard piece. I love how big it is. That was awesome. I love, love, loved it. And there's my glittery letters. Don't they look awesome? I love it. And because I used the alcohol markers, the stickles didn't reactivate it. So don't forget to like, subscribe, share my page, leave me a comment, all the good stuff that helps my channel out. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back with another one tomorrow. Bye for now.